Hello, everyone. My name is Carlos Ranchetti, your host for today, as we enter in another episode of the Student World Spotlight. Today, we're putting on the spotlight a very special university, the University of Cardiff in Wales, in the UK. So, we're very excited to show you guys this. As you saw on the email, we sent it out to you promoting this. We said that this university has the potential to win your heart. Yes, and we are pretty confident of that, and you're about to find out why. But very happy to be here, guys, back again for another week. We have already over 30 people joining us, and let's wait a little bit so more people can come. 39 already, 40. All right, then. So let's see who do we have here today. We have Chihab, Madhu, Maha back again. Hello, Maha, always coming here with us. Noor Mohammed. Very well, guys. So why don't we start like with you always putting here where you watching us from? And if you have a question, have you heard of the University of Cardiff before and of Wales? What do you know about Wales? Can you put some fun facts that you know about the country here? I see already Noor asking questions, but we're gonna get to those things. Noor Aristapas, hello. Kushara is back here. Hello, good to see you again, Kushara. All right, guys, very happy. 45 people already. Rafael Algul, nice. Hello, Hafa, how are you? Yeah, Ma is saying I've never heard of it about it, so I'm excited. Yeah, you should. It's an incredible university. I have to say I was quite impressed when I did my research about it. I was trying to come up with some interesting things, and the more I dig, the more things I saw, and I'm really excited to share with you guys all that. Our guests are already on the backstage. Pretty nice people. I think you're gonna like them. Yeah, Max tuned in from Uganda. Very nice. We have Vignesh here. By the way, guys, I know that from 9 out of the 10 names I pronounce here, I know I'm mispronouncing them, so I'm so sorry in advance. But yeah, cool. Okie dokie. 43 people joining us. Noor is already sending 2 questions. Hold your horses, New. We're gonna get to that. But all right, guys. So as I mentioned today on the spotlight of this week, we show all a 360 view, let's put it this way, of this incredible university called University of Cardiff. Right. Just some quick facts here about the University of Cardiff, because again, I found out a lot of things about them and I wrote them down here. Just some interesting things. But University of Cardiff is ranked the number 1 in Wales, the best university in Wales, and also is the largest university in the country as well. And it's the number 1 university and only Russell Group institution in Wales. Russell Group, guys, Russell Group Russell Group is the equivalent to the Ivy Leagues, kind of say. All right. So, do you know the Ivy Leagues in the U.S. where you have only like the very best universities? So yeah, so Russell Group would be the equivalent to that, and University of Cardiff is part of that group, and is the only one from Wales that is part of that group. What else? Yeah, when many of its schools, many of its faculties ranked in the top 5, top 10 in the whole UK, and as you know, UK is filled with incredible institutions, so it's a big thing. It's also the number 2 in the UK for research impact, right? So that's another like huge thing. We're gonna cover a little bit about like the research side of the university. It's really a big thing there. And also, cool thing is also a top university for employment services. So with over 95% of their undergrads finding a job after their graduation, which is quite impressive. In other words, folks, University of Cardiff is the whole package, right? But before I introduce them, let's take a look, because not everybody perhaps is familiar with Wales. So let's show on the map where exactly is Wales. So let's put the map here on the screen. Oh, all right. So as you can see there, that's with the red line around it. That's Wales. So that's part of the United Kingdom, right? Alongside with Northern Ireland, England, and Scotland. So it's pretty close to some famous cities in England, like Liverpool. It's also like a fair distance from London as well. So you're super well located there. That's where Wales is. All right. Okay, so we have more people joining us here. Guillermo from Ecuador. Nice. Guillermo, Sofia Alvarado. Nice to see you guys here. All right, then. So, okay, I'm not going to say anything else because, I'm not the best person to talk about the university. We have them in the backstage. I'll bring them on in a second. But before I invite them over, why don't we play a quick video to show you how amazing the campus of the university is? Which, by the way, last thing, was ranked recently one of the 10 most beautiful campus in the whole UK, which is another big thing. So if it's one of your criteria on your list there to study in a super well ranked institution with a nice campus in a very friendly country and cosmopolitan country, then University of Cardiff might just be it. Okay, so let's take a look at the video so you guys can see what their campus looks like. Really beautiful. But okay, folks, now please welcome to the stage David Adams and Joanna and Rakita, please. Hello, everyone. Hi, David.
Hi
How are
there.
you doing
How's it
today?
going?
Good, good. Thanks for being here. We're very excited to talk about this amazing university. Also, very welcome to Joanna and Rakita, which, by the way, guys, they're both students. Joanna is from Romania. Rakita is from Sri Lanka. They're both experienced what it's like to study in the University of Cardiff, and they'll be sharing lots of insights about how their experience been. So yes, hello everyone. Happy to have you all here. So yeah, let's start with a quick intro here. So David, let's start with you. So what do you do for University of Cardiff? And
Yeah. So, hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. My name's David Evans. So, I'm one of the regional managers at the university in the international office. So, that's really helping students try and find their way to come to study with us. And I predominantly focus on Europe, Central Asia, East Asia, and international students in the UK. But I also talk across the entire university. So that's me.
cool. All right, now you guys, because our audience, they love when we bring here students because you can share what the real thing is like, right? So yeah, Joanna, could you please introduce yourself? Where you're from? What you're doing at Cardiff University?
Yes, sure. So my name is Joanna. Thank you for having me here. I'm studying psychology at the undergraduate level with a professional placement year. So actually, I just finished my placement year, and I'm gonna go into my final year now, which sadly, because it makes me realize how fast time passed by. So yeah, I'm happy to answer questions and talk about my experience.
Cool. How about you, Rakita? By the way, am I pronouncing correctly your name?
Yeah, you got it spot on. Hi everyone. My name is Rakita, and as Carl's mentioned, I'm from Sri Lanka. I study integrated engineering currently, which is sort of a mix of electrical and mechanical engineering. But like Yana, I'm currently on placement. I'll actually be finishing up in a few weeks, and really excited to get back to uni.
Cool. All right, guys. So we prepare here a few topics that we want to talk to you about. The first thing, I think it's always good to start sometimes talking about the destination side of it. So in this case, Wales. So what Wales? So David, can you tell us a little bit to these nice folks that are watching us here today? Why Wales?
Yeah, good question. Because I think when most people think about the UK, they think about London. So we're about 2 hours west of London. Wales is a country within the United Kingdom, as you mentioned before. The United Kingdom is made up of 4 countries. So Wales is quite unique. It's one of the smallest of the three. We've got about 3.5 million people in terms of a population, and about just over 10% of those live in Cardiff, where we are, which is the capital city. It's a very green country. There's lots of national parks, lots of beautiful lakes, lovely beaches. So, and it's largely untouched. A lot of kind of mid and North Wales. You may have heard of Mount Snowdon, one of the largest mountains in the UK is here. And Cardiff itself is Europe's youngest capital city. So it's a very exciting, vibrant place to be. So about 20% of the population of the city are made up of students. So it's not just Cardiff University here. We've got a few other universities and big colleges and music schools and what have you. So it's a very young, vibrant, dynamic place to live. And it's a very popular destination, particularly for students from within the UK, because it's known, Cardiff, as being a very beautiful city, a very exciting city where the cost of living is quite low to other cities, but the standard of living is very high. So it's I've lived all over the world. I've lived in London myself. I've lived in Paris. I lived in Japan for a long time, and Cardiff is really the Goldilocks city for me. It's just right.
Yeah, I agree with you. Amazing city, super beautiful. And according to some of the research I did, says that Cardiff offers the lowest living cost among all UK university cities, which is very interesting. Everybody, if you want to save money. And at the same time, live in an amazing city. That might be it. But guys, now I want to start with you, Joanna, because what are you experiencing in Cardiff, like the city itself? Because it says, as David said, it's a very like young, very bustling capital, and with a big percentage of students, right? I think 20% or something of the residents are students. So I think that might be quite exciting, the experiences. Can you share a little bit of what was your first impression when you got there, and now that you've been there for a while?
Yeah, sure. So I guess as you know, the theme, why Wales, and I'm gonna admit I was quite ignorant before applying. I wasn't really sure about the differences. I didn't really know much about Cardiff, but then I guess doing my research into it about things that you both mentioned, how it's the capital city of Wales, and it's very vibrant at the same time, but also the living costs and the prices are more affordable for students and young people. Those things were the things I kind of knew about before arriving there. But once I got there, I could see how it's such a nice place to be, especially as someone who's leaving home, your home country, for the first time, going abroad. It can be quite what would you say, intimidating, right? To go into a different city. And going to Cardiff, I felt like there was a nice balance between how there are many things to do and you have the option to get involved in the community and with different activities, but also you don't get overwhelmed by, let's say, how other cities might be like London, or where you have to commute way much more, where you have to spend so much more time commuting. Whereas in Cardiff, the campus is quite compact and it's close to the city centre and to all the main venues. So then you don't have to spend that much time commuting, and you can spend the time that you would spend commuting or on the road actually doing things for yourself.
Yeah, awesome. And I see, guys, by the way, I forgot to mention that at the beginning. Please do send your questions. I see many of you are already send your questions. We have a kind of a little bit of a structure here, but we're going to cover all of that. I see Beatrice is asking, by the way, Beatrice, nice to see you back here. I remember you from other lives. Yes, we're going to cover that. We're going to cover your questions as well as all the other questions I see is already questions about from Sirat, the economy faculty, and on tuition fees, the requirements for application. We're gonna get to all of that, folks. So hang in there. And yeah, and hello there for Austin joining us from Kenya, and Beatrice says, then Namdi, and everybody else. Very cool. But now, Rakita, what do you like the most about Cardiff?
Where to begin? It's a bunch of things for me, but over the years of so I work as a student ambassador as well. So quite often I get to talk to a lot of people, and what I realize is that Cardiff offers something for every type of person. Like because I can't come here and say, oh, the sports clubs are the best, because there are people, of course, who are not into sports. But for those people, there's clubs, there's other activities that are available in Cardiff. And with Cardiff, as Di mentioned, being one of the youngest capitals in the world, it has such an array of activities, and it's not too big that you can't get from one place to another within a few hours, but it's also not so small that you find yourself not having certain activities. It's so I would say that's what I think Cardiff offers.
That's the
Uh,
perfect size, isn't it?
yeah, it just offers something for everyone,
Yeah,
and yeah, it's yeah. My one of my tips would be to explore the city as soon as possible, because
yeah.
you'll find something you like, and
Yeah,
it's always there.
definitely. You know, guys, here I'm supposed to play Switzerland in every time because every week we are hosting a different institution here. So, but I'm gonna leave Switzerland a bit, just a little bit. I'll wear it again in a second, just to mention that I love when we have like the institutions coming from not the super big cities like perhaps London or Paris, or I love when you explore these others because they are so much. I can't compare, so I'm not gonna say, but uh, it's there's so much to see, right? Really, and sometimes we're talking to the students here, and maybe some of you folks, you come here to the lives or you come to one of the student world events, and you're like, you have your mindset on, oh, I want to study in London, or I want to study in Paris or Milan, or this main cities, New York. But I really advise you to like open up your mind, like really be open to more to different possibilities. And I do it that I do that. This is coming from someone that does a lot of research, because to host these, I have to, like, me and my team here, we do a lot of research. We go to YouTube, we check videos, we check testimonies, we go to official websites, everything. And the things that I found about Wales and about Cardiff, it's really impressive, and I really mean it. So, okay, now it's done. I'll put Switzerland back again. Moving on, David. Now let's talk about the institution itself, right? Let's focus on the institution. The first thing I want to ask you is like, what makes the University of Cardiff unique? Because in the UK we have lots of very ranked, well-ranked institutions, right? But what makes the University of Cardiff unique for international students?
Oh, is this for me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it is a really unique institution in that we're one of the only really large Russell Group universities that is right in the city centre. It's right in the civic centre. So when you arrive, you really do have the feeling that you're in a vibrant city. Also, as you saw in the videos, a lot of our buildings are kind of Georgian, Edwardian. They look, some of them, you come out of some of the buildings, you feel like you've been studying in the White House. You really have a sense of grandeur and a place of importance. It really does feel like, you're studying somewhere where important things happen. And indeed they do. As you mentioned before, we're a Russell Group university. So we're a research intensive institution where we're conducting some of the, not just the best research within the UK, but actually top class world research. I mean, our School of Biosciences, for example, has won 2 Nobel Prizes. So, it is a really interesting place. Rakita mentioned as well about the lively aspect of it. I mean, what really attracted me to Cardiff, other than other cities that I could have lived in, was I'm a big music fan. And that's really important to me. And the city offers all different types of aspect of music, from lots of live music. You hear people just walking up the street in the evenings, particularly on the weekends, you'll hear live music coming out of everywhere. We hold the Cardiff Singer of the World competition. We have the Welsh National Opera, the National Orchestra. So it's a really culturally strong place. Something that's a little bit different that you may not be expecting as well is that in Wales, we do speak another language too, even though the overriding majority of everything that you'll hear in the city, because it's an English speaking city, is English. But at Cardiff, you'll see the signs for places that are in 2 languages. So culturally, it's quite unique. Another thing that people always say to me, whether I'm traveling throughout the UK or different parts of the world, they always mention that Wales is a really friendly place. If you go to London and you're sitting on a bus and someone just starts talking to you, you'll notice people just sort of shuffle away. They'll move as far away as they can. Wales, people will strike up a conversation with you. I'm sure if you speak to Joanna and Rakita, they'll have had a lot of people asking lots of questions. Oh, where are you from? What are you doing? It's a very friendly place, landing place. Yeah. Another thing that's really striking, I won't go on. I could talk all day about how much I love Cardiff. But particularly in this really hot weather, we have some of the most beautiful parks, like Roath Park Lake with a big lake that you can boat on. You've got Butte Park, which is humongous with a castle in it. So they're just really lovely places full of green, full of nature, where students can enjoy just hanging out, exercising, playing football, whatever. So it's a really, really picturesque city, and we're right next to the ocean too. So you can even take a water bus, a boat from Cardiff Bay right up to Butte Park next to Cardiff University. So it's quite unique.
Yeah, absolutely. And David, before I bring it to Joanna and Rakita, I just wanted, because University of Cardiff, you guys offer over 300 courses, right? So basically, from everybody that is watching us here, guys, possibly any major you want to study, it's most likely going to be offered by Cardiff. But is there any particular field? Because we talked about, you mentioned a lot about the research aspect, right? It's a university very focused on the it's very strong in research. But is there any particular field that would you like to highlight when you talk about the programs and faculties offered by Cardiff?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, hold on to your hats. There's quite a few. So we're ranked number 1 in the UK for civil and construction engineering. In terms of psychology and neuroscience, we're generally ranked 2, 3. We're 2 at the moment. Communication, media, and journalism. We've got so many famous graduates that have gone on to work, because the faculty itself is in with the BBC. Sociology, we're ranked 3rd in terms of research for the UK. Education, allied health and life sciences, modern languages and linguistics. Our business school is, consistently ranked in the top 10, because I noticed some people were asking about business and economics. Obviously, our School of Medicine is one of the largest in the UK. It's very, very well renowned, and our School of Architecture is generally ranked in the top 5 too. So, yeah, we've got 24 schools, so it's hard to really pinpoint one or two. I did mention biosciences there, where we've had some success in terms of Nobel Prizes. We're very famous for catalysis in terms of chemistry, and we've got the leading brain research imaging center here at Cardiff, so-called Kubrick, where you go in there and they have these massive magnetic machines, and people can go in there and sleep there for the evening with sensors all over their head to do all sorts of analysis of different brain disorders and what have you. So yeah, it's pretty extensive.
Quite a lot. Yeah. But that's actually great news, because most of our audience is very diverse most of the time. So yeah, good to see that. I see already. I'm very happy with the questions we're getting here, guys, because it's very specific questions, and I love that. It means that you are committed. You know what you're talking about. See here, Heather sent a question. Jake sent. I love how he put 3 questions all together, and we're gonna get to those questions soon, guys. But Joanna, I want to ask you something. What can you tell us about like the student experience, right? So, from the kind of classes the lessons that you guys have, like the teaching methodology, is it more like hands-on, or what can you share about like the student experience, but for all these people here that are considering Cardiff?
Yeah, sure. So I guess if you're not living in the UK and you're not familiar with the educational system there, it might be quite different to the country where you're from. For instance, coming from Romania, I know much things in the UK, despite Cardiff University, like studying psychology. I can only talk about my experience. It was focused on blending different types of learning. So we would have 3 modules each semester, and we would have around 2 theoretical lectures per module. So it'd be around 6 lectures a week. But on top of that, we would have also seminars or tutorials where we would go more in depth with the materials and the theoretical aspects we've learned about. And we would also have practical classes where we would learn about how to actually use statistical programs, how to, design a research question or a research sort of report. So there will also be the aspect where you can actually see and learn from actually doing things rather than just reading about them, which I thought that's really great in your learning experience. And what I would say on top of that, something around what Dai mentioned, the research experiences. I managed to apply and get a place for the CURE scheme, which I think is the Cardiff University Research Opportunity Program. So that is a program that is open for, I think, different schools and, different domains. But then there would be research opportunities that you can apply to as part of your degree. So I managed to do one before my second year, a 2-month-long internship, so to say, in Kubrick at the it was the cognitive lab. So you also get the chance to see snippets of different areas, like to see, is it research for me? Is that area of research something that I would be interested in? And I guess to have the chance to experience that as an undergraduate student really opens your mind and really makes you think, okay, this is something that I would like to pursue further or not. So in terms of that student and learning experience, I think it gives you a variety of things that you can explore.
Yeah, definitely. And Rakita, how about from your experience? Because you're an engineering student there at Cardiff. What can you tell us about like the way you're learning there? I'm guessing like the campus is probably really nice as well. Lots of labs for you guys to explore. Can you share us a little bit about what your student experience has been?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, as you mentioned, there's a lot of labs, a lot of different. So there's a high voltage lab, there's a manufacturing lab, there's the materials and testing lab, electronics lab. So I do warn you though, if you're coming in as a first year, you won't be allowed to go into most of these labs, especially the high voltage lab for quite obvious reasons. Um, but yeah, so even in first year, you would have a dedicated laboratory module if you study engineering, of course. So I believe for an engineer, hands-on experience is one of the greatest things that you can gain out of a degree. And um, so in the first year you'd have a laboratory module, and in the second year you'll have a group design project where throughout the year you're working on making something, and at the end of the year your target is to pitch this product to, well, your lecturers. But it's kind of preparing you for the industry where this is what you'll be doing, and this is what I am currently doing on placement. So yeah, as Yana mentioned, it's quite a blended learning experience. It's engineering, at least, is uh, quite contact hour heavy. So we would get about 15 to 16 contact hours a week. But on top of that, we would also get sessions where we do questions, and on top of that, more laboratory sessions. So it's quite an exhaustive experience. It makes sure that you have all the skills that you need
Yeah.
to do a good job once you get out of uni. And
Right.
Yeah, I was always quite excited walking into the engineering school because in the middle, I don't know which bit it is because it's so huge, but there's part of a plane there, and then when you go around, you can see that we take part in. Don't they take part in a car racing competition each year, which is really prestigious.
yes, yeah,
And we've won it a couple of
they do.
times.
So there's a specific club called Engine Formula Racing. So as the name suggests, that's what they do. And it's a university. It's a countrywide competition where other universities also try and compete. And I think Cardiff won. Cardiff won the last race, or it was 2 years back, but I'm not sure. And on the topic of interesting contests, there's also Robot War.
Mm.
So yeah, it's
There,
very
there,
interesting once you
there's lots going on, right?
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
And, yeah, as I
Yeah.
mentioned, the building is huge as well. So
Yeah.
it's a separate building called the Queen's Building, which is quite near to the city center. You will get lost if in your first 2 days, because it's that big. It happened to me, so this is personal experience. But yeah, it's
Cool.
yeah, after 2 days you'll be fine. But yeah, it's quite a fun experience.
All right, then. So, yeah, guys, if any one of you there is interested in psychology and have questions that you would like to ask to Yona, or about integrated engineering or engineering in general to Rakita, yeah, feel free to drop it in the chat. You might be asking, oh, but Carlos, you're saying drop your questions, but then you're not addressing the questions. Yeah, we're going to get to that. In just a couple of minutes, then I'm going to go over all of them. Doesn't matter if you put it in the very beginning or just now, I'm going to cover all questions. All right. David, one of the things that I like exploring here on the lives is that usually information that cannot be easily found, perhaps, or maybe I'm just saying wrongly. But anyway, what I found out about the university that I thought was super interesting. It was when I started to reading about the flexibility offer in the programs, right? So tailor-based programs, let's put it this way. And I wrote here, like, from spending time abroad, experience a year in industry as part of your degree, our ultimate aim is to offer you flexibility. So, in other words, how flexible can those be? So students that are doing their undergrad or even master's level, they can have a year abroad. How does that work exactly?
Yeah, so particularly at the undergraduate level, we do really encourage things like study abroad, whether that be short term or long term. And we've also got the professional placement years, which I believe is what our friends here have done as well. So that's what I did. So I went and studied I didn't. I went and worked in a law firm in France as part of my degree. And students have that opportunity there. We've actually got more international placement opportunities than any other UK university. It's a real part of our ethos to have an international outlook. So we send students for either work placements or study placements as part of their course, should they wish, to different parts of the world. So that's there absolutely as an opportunity. At the master's level, it's a little bit more rigid because, as you may be aware, a master's program in the UK is only 1 year long. So the placements, and depends on the program, some of them do send students to different parts of the world to do different areas of research and what have you, but they tend to be shorter term, unless you're doing an integrated master's of 2 years where you spend 1 year at the university and then perhaps 1 year on placement, which is also for some limited programs an opportunity. So yeah, it's there are a lot of options there. And we've got a team here called Global Opportunities, where students can go and be counseled. They can talk you through all the different options that are available. Some of them are limited. They may be limited in terms of they're only available to students with certain GPAs or certain language abilities or what have you. But if you do want to do it, there are options for you. We send students to all 4 corners of the globe. So
yeah, absolutely. And I'm mentioning this because I found it super interesting. And for you guys watching us, like, they have links with over 300 institutions, and basically can provide you with the opportunity, as David said, to embark on an overseas placement, either in Europe or even beyond, as David mentioned. So this is really, really interesting. One of the other things, because we were talking a lot about like how the university is strong at research. Joanna shared some examples of what she's going through in the program. But what I like, David, is because sometimes when you hear research, your mind thinks already that it's very theoretical, very academic, and all that. But I learned something, that you guys are actually the number 3 in the UK in converting research into successful companies, which means, in other words, that it's the research for the real world things, right? So
that's right. Yeah. So in the last research excellence framework, which is the quality assurance of that within the UK, that's run by the government, for research impacts, we are ranked number 2, purely just to do with the size of the university as well does help. And then research quality number 5. So research is at the heart of everything we do. Now, you may not think that would affect you as an undergraduate, but remember, you're being taught by some of the world's most prominent researchers and academics. They bring in a lot of research funding as well, which means the facilities that you use are world class. So it filters down into everything you study here. And in terms of tailoring your degree, I think probably Joanna and Rakita will understand this very well. When you start a program at the undergraduate level with us, your program seems quite rigid. You'll be studying 101 subjects in lots of different areas. But as you move through the degree, the 2nd year, 3rd year, maybe 4th or 5th year, depending on the program, you'll find that you'll have a huge array of optional modules. So I'm sure Joanna's optional modules will be just this massive list. It's probably quite difficult to pick what you want to study, because it gives you the chance to really build and tailor your own degree in light of what you want to do in terms of a career.
Yeah, absolutely. And now moving on to the next topic, because we're already behind time a little bit. It's already 7:40 here in Central Europe time. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk to you, because another interesting thing that I always, when I started like researching, I try to look for the things that I usually don't find in all institutions. And this is the next topic is originally post studies work opportunities, right? Which many of the people that goes to study abroad, they also hope that they can experience, that they can have like a professional experience, right? So before I actually ask you this, which are like, what are the opportunities for your graduates to remain in the UK, remain in Wales, and have like a year of or so to study? What are the possibilities? Before
Yeah,
I ask you that, I just wanted to point out and ask you to include this in your answer, which is something else that I also found super interesting. That inside the university, and you can correct me if I'm mistake, but you have the Cardiff University Enterprise and Startup team, which basically, according to my researcher, can help you out for up to 5 years after you graduate and run an annual ideas competitions. So basically, it's the not only we're going to talk about the opportunities after your graduation, but during your time in the university is already supporting you in entering the market.
yeah, absolutely. So just going back, I won't answer it in reverse, but in terms of when you graduate from Cardiff University, so in your final year, you'll need to apply for what's known as the graduate route. So that is our students' way of staying in the UK afterwards for up to 2 years, to really just find your feet, find the job that you want to do. You can stay, of course, longer than that. After that, if you have secured a job and you fulfill all the criteria, being in the right field and earning all the right money, what have you. But yeah, there's an opportunity, of course, it used to be known as the post-study work visa, but now it's known as the graduate route visa. So there are opportunities to do that. And then you did mention our Centre for Entrepreneurship there as well. And yeah, that gives students the opportunity to be able to pitch and use some of the business acumen or knowledge to be able to look at things like starting up their own business and teaching entrepreneurial skills and what have you. And the university will support our graduates to be able to do that, because we're not just nurturing people to go and work in just big industries. We're also, in some fields, just helping students set themselves up as self-starters and kind of business owners.
Yeah, and some like I see here that Wales has 12% of graduate startup companies in the UK, despite only being 5% of the population. So we
That's
can
right.
see like the innovation is in the air there. And I
Yeah.
wanted to. And I wanted to ask you this, and to then bring Rakita on this, because you're studying engineering as well, right? How have you been feeling this innovative environment in there in the with your colleagues and within the university? What can you tell us a little bit about this?
Oh, that's for me. Okay. Yeah. So as I mentioned, like design projects are a part of your course as you move on, and I think that is that is what prepares you for innovation, because when you think of a research project, and what often happens is you find avenues that diverge from your main topic, that are new ideas. So if you so for an example, I was building a damage detection system for aircrafts in my second year. And when I was researching that, I did a lot of research into the high frequency wave spectrum. So that led into fields of communication and other uh, other fields such as medicine, biotechnology, things like that. So I think that's how ideas strike, and having us work on it over the year from second year onwards. This is something that I want to especially mention, because usually this would come in your third year, where you have to finish off a thesis and then you are kind of finished with uni. But at Cardiff, you start this during your second year, and even first year. We had a week where we worked with Babcock International, which is a Forbes 500 company that works on defense and nuclear technology here in UK. So they came into Cardiff Uni, and for a week we had a design project where we had to build a miniature submarine. The submarine didn't work, of course, but that experience that we got of how the process actually works helps us in like following our new ideas, because one of
Yeah.
the main blocks that people have is, oh, I have a cool idea, but what do I do now? But by practicing this process, you kind of get over that hump, and you know what to do when you have a new idea, or you know where to go, you know what the process is. So I think that that surely helps in what Carlos said. Many new
Yeah.
companies starting up in
Yeah.
Cardiff.
Absolutely. And how about Joanna? You're studying psychology, right? So, what can you like? What kind of not only like this, because we were talking about this innovative aspect of it, and the fact that the university is always supporting this on students. But what other supports have you felt from the university that helped you develop throughout the course?
So, would you like me to speak more aside of the academic side, like other sort of um, extracurricular
Well, yeah,
extracurricular things?
that too. Yeah.
Well, now it comes to mind actually, but the things that I said about the the support that there is available for students after graduation, but also about what's available while you're a student. Is it called the employability team, where you can go and there would be a career advisor that can help you build up your CV, can help you prepare for interviews. And that has been really, really helpful, in the process of, when I applied for the research internship in first year and then for my placement year. So you have that support that you wouldn't get otherwise, I think. And it can be quite daunting to get into that process of, writing CVs and writing applications. So having that available, it's really, really helpful and really, really gets you to get that experience before you're graduated and you don't know where to begin when it comes to writing CVs and preparing to get into the working market. So I would mention that. And then another thing that maybe wouldn't come to mind is about the support that it's available in terms of student well-being within campus. So if I'm mistaken, I think a lot of first year students, when they first come to university, they live in university halls. And we have a residence life team, which is part of the support and well-being team in the university. And basically, they have students who are trained, and as well organizers like team leaders who create events within campus, who help students, they signpost them in case they need to the appropriate services, so to say. And they're there for students in case they need any help in terms of their well-being, or to be able, they're kind of a first place to go, or a first point to go
Uh,
if you need
oh,
any support or any help to be
yeah.
signposted somewhere else.
And yeah, and this kind of support makes a big difference, right? I always say that this is the extra mile. This is the university going the extra mile, make sure that the whole experience is is going well. But
Yeah,
guys, now we are. Yeah, you want to say something, Rakita?
yeah. I want to give a shout out to the employability team as well, because so I've worked a summer placement and a placement year, but to get those opportunities you have to apply, and that the first thing that you have to kind of show your employer is your CV. So if you were to see my CV about 2.5 years ago versus what it is now, you'd be shocked at the difference. And that is all down to the employability team, because you can continuously send, it's a free service, you can send your CV in, you can send your, they'll prepare you for interviews, they'll prepare you for um recruitment center tests that they have going on. So yeah, I'd like to give a quick shout out to the
Cool.
employability team.
All right, then, guys, we're approaching now the final 10 minutes, so that's time to move on to the questions here. So here we go. We got many, 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 many. So let me start here with well, let's see. Yeah, so ties, yeah. So Di, who is it? Tatiana Di Evans mentioned music. I would like to know about the courses mastered in other language and art, like performance art, theater, So, Dai, do you guys offer those areas? What can you briefly tell Tatiana?
So in terms of performing arts, the only thing we really offer is music. So if they're looking to be an actor or something, we would advise them to go to the Conservatoire, which is right opposite our School of Pharmacy. We work very closely with them, but they're not part of Cardiff University. So you go to the Royal Welsh College of Music and Drama to do something like that if you wanted to come to Cardiff. But yeah, music, it would be specifically, and music and performance. And there are a lot of degrees as well where you can mix music with other subjects as well, like modern languages, like maths even. So it's quite interesting. English literature.
Yeah. Next one, Guillermo Aguilera. Do you have a master? I think he mentioned master here for biotechnology or a doctorate degree.
So it would very much depend on the very specific area of biotechnology. So if he does have a specific research project, I'd advise him to send that into international@cardiff.ac.uk for us to check. It's quite limited in terms of, I mean, there are elements of biotechnology, particularly within the School of Engineering there. There's a medicine and engineering hybrid course. Of course, in the School of Biosciences, that tends to be more kind of pure like biology, genetics, zoology, those areas. But if he's got something specific in mind, then do get in touch with us and we'll be able to tell whether we'd be able to help or not.
Yeah. By the way, Guillermo and all of you, hang in there. We're gonna put the contact information for you guys to get in touch for more. If you want to carry on the conversation, we're gonna display in the screen here in just a little bit. Next question, going over to Heather. She's asking, is it possible to get into a double major of media studies and marketing management?
So media management, there is a program at the master's level. At the undergraduate level, there may be some opportunity to mix a little bit between the two, but students tend to build up acumen in one area of either business or then media, and then bring the two together at the postgraduate level.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Heather. Next one is coming from Jake. He's put in there 3 questions in one. The average living expenses per year. So we mentioned that Cardiff is one of the most affordable university cities. So that the acceptance rate for graduate students, and if you can just briefly talk about the PhD programs, if you guys offer, and then we charge them.
Yeah, absolutely. So average living expenses, we quote for students, it's around £9,000. Again, that's a UK-wide figure. Some students spend a lot less. Some students spend a lot more. It depends on your style of living. The acceptance rate for graduate students, we don't publish. They vary massively depending on what school you go to. But again, if you have a specific question about a specific college, you can get in touch with us and we can have a look at that for you. And then PhD programs, we offer everything right up to research level and beyond. So postdocs in all of our schools. So again, PhD is quite a difficult area because students come to us with research questions, research topics, and then we will put that towards our specialist staff, and they will discuss, they meet regularly to see if they're able to assist students with their research question. It basically means whether we have the expertise to supervise students through that specific topic.
Very well, cool. Moving on to an important question here as well, coming from Princess Namdi. She's talking about if is there racism towards Black people in Wales? What can you tell us today?
Okay, yeah, it's not an easy question for me to answer. What I would say is that, you know, in any city, you probably have lots of different people with different backgrounds. What I would like to say about Cardiff is that, like I said at the beginning, it has a general sense of being very, very welcoming. It is a very cosmopolitan city. We've got people from all over the world here, particularly in and around where I live, near City Road and the city centre. So I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but I would like to think that Cardiff is one of the most welcoming and cosmopolitan of the university cities within the UK.
Perfect. So Beatrice, she's asking about if IELTS is among the requirements for PhD students. In her case, she previously was in a university where English was the medium of instruction.
Okay, so if that university was in a country that's on our recognized lists of countries that we accept those from, then no. But if it's in a country where the predominant language is not English, the likelihood is that they will need not necessarily an IELTS. We accept other English language qualifications as well, but IELTS is the benchmark. So it depends where they're asking from. I'm trying to decipher the name just to guess to where it was, but I can't really tell. But the likelihood is that if you're not from the likes of the UK, Ireland, United States, Canada, Australia, you may need an IELTS certificate or equivalent.
Nice. Moving on to music world now. What are the costs of undergraduate programs at Cardiff?
So they vary. So art subjects tend to be around 18,000. Business a little bit more, maybe 19, and then some of the sciences up to 22, 23,000 pounds per year. But they're often offset by scholarships that we offer as well, which lower those from between the Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship is £2,000. Some countries have a slightly higher level as well, up to £5,000. So that's the rough ballpark for the undergraduate studies.
Cool. Quick question here coming from Sazidu Alam Sazid. For undergrad students, any financial help for international students? And will you provide like accommodation? And again, another question, but we already covered the PhD.
Yeah. So financial help for international students, again, you just need to go onto our website and look under the scholarship section. So the most common would be the Vice Chancellor's International Scholarship. Accommodation we guarantee for all first year students who come here for their first year. So we've got 18 different halls of residence here. We have an abundance, and we've got everything. You know, if your budget is limited, we can provide you with options for cheaper options, whether they be at the university or private. And then for some students who want to live in, you know, basically kind of serviced apartments, very posh type accommodation, we can also advise on those. So yes, lots of accommodation, and there's some financial help.
Very well. We're getting to the end here. Another one coming from Bokamoso. Do you have courses for the automotive industry?
Well, I think Rakita can probably touch on that, but specifically in name, you're unlikely to find an automotive degree, but our degrees we're a traditional engineering school, so they'll come under things like mechanical engineering, integrated engineering, where, you know, cars are not just mechanical these days, they've got a high element of electronics in them too. So a lot of our graduates do go on and work in the automotive industry that have studied our big subjects of engineering, like mechanical engineering specifically. Like I said earlier, you know, we're one of the best universities in the UK in the kind of the student Formula One competition. So yeah, there's a history there.
Very well. And moving on now to the last question. It's coming from Melody. Melody, she's saying, I'm a sociologist. I want to bring together music, psychology, sociology together. How can I discuss about it? Would love some guidance. And she completes then her question saying, what is the scope after doing like a master's in music?
Okay, good question. Yeah, the likelihood is you'd be able to bring together all of those subjects within the master's program. Of course, a master's program here has a very heavy research element in it, and students come to us with their own research questions. In terms of what you do after that, again, generally as a university, we have a very high job placement rate within 6 months. It's one of the higher numbers in the UK. So there'll be a lot of job opportunities. I'm not a specialist in those areas of music, sociology, and psychology. So off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But what we can do is certainly, if you get in touch with us, we can put you in touch with the right people, either within the School of Sociology or the School of Music, who'd be able to help with that.
Excellent. Oh, Melody, there you go. Guys, I'm now going to put for all of you the link, the contact information. So let's put it here on the screen, please. There you go, international at cardiff.ac.uk. So for those of you that are just like me, super excited about this institution, please go ahead, talk to David, talk to his whole team. Many of you said, talked about PhD. He's going to put you in touch with the right person. So yes, so international at cardiff.ac.uk. So I'm going to ask my team also to put it here on the chat so you guys can easily copy.
If I can just add one more thing as well, we've got a great function on our website, a chat function. So if you go to our main site, it'll direct you to chat to our students. So you can speak to students like Joanna and Rakita and many, many other students in lots of different schools. So you can get firsthand, real, truthful information from students that are studying with us now.
Absolutely. Awesome. All right, then. So you heard the man, guys. Access, you can Google University of Cardiff and the website will show up. We put it here, the contact information, right? And yes, that's it. Let me thank, but first, ladies first, I'll thank Joanna for joining us here today. It was very nice to have you sharing your experience as a psychology student here. And yeah, thanks a lot. I hope we wish you all the best in your experience there. And I envy you a little bit that you're going through that in Cardiff, I have to say.
Thanks for having me. It was nice to speak to you.
Thank you. And Rakita, thank you so much for you as well. Wishing you all the best in all the competitions you're entering there in your course. And yeah, hope you have an amazing time, which I'm pretty sure you're having there at Cardiff. And thanks for coming.
Thank you very much for having me. And yeah, as I mentioned, happy to answer any questions through Unibuddy.
Cool. Excellent. All right. And last but not least, you, David, thank you so much for joining us here today.
No worries.
About this amazing university. And now you're free to go and enjoy a cold bee, my friend. Okay?
We need it. We need it.
We need it. Super warm weather, guys, here. Mm-hmm. But yes, seriously, thank you so much for accepting our invitation to join here to tell these amazing folks here a little bit about the Cardiff University. And I do hope that some of them will carry on and pursue this goal and ended up just like Joanna and Rakita studying in the university. So thanks a lot, and I hope to see you again in the future.
Okay, take care. Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye.
All right, guys, as we say goodbye to our lovely guest today, I just have to tell you, I forgot to ask for your like. I can't believe it at the beginning. So don't forget to give us your like, as we put it there. If you enjoyed what you saw here today, always send us your feedback because we do this for you. So you're the best person to let us know if you're in the right way or not. So don't forget to, you can contact the student world through Instagram, send us a direct message there, say, hey, I really like the other day's live. And also tell us what institutions would you like us to invite? Again, every time we invite a school here, it's basically 1 hour that you can ask anything you want. As you saw, I asked them 99% of the questions that you guys display here, right? So it's an opportunity to have 1 hour free to chat with that institution that you're considering studying at. All right. Just a quick invitation. Tomorrow, we have the Student World Prime Choices at this exact same time today. We just sent an email to the database promoting that. We're going to cover some study in Central and Eastern Europe. So it's pretty cool. Hope to see some of you there. And yeah, thank you so much for coming. Don't forget to give us your like, as I mentioned before. Subscribe here so you can be notified every time we have an amazing live. And also don't forget to join us on Instagram as well at The Student World, just like it's saying there. Alrighty, thank you so much, Maha, again, Tatiana, who else? Melody, Sheena, and everybody else who stayed with us until now. All right, I hope to see you again in the next live. This is the student world, folks. Whatever you want to study, we know how to get you there.